What's up, everybody? It's Thursday, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's time for Macro Talk 2. Happy springtime, everybody. Is it spring everywhere where you are? Ingolf, is it spring in Germany? Does it spring this early over there? We're going to talk a little bit about springtime photography and getting outdoors. I've got a few questions I want to ask you about that, but I've got several things I need to ask you about first. And I'm seeing if there's a moderator here. There is Bud here. And I'm going to have a quick word with Bud. You chat amongst yourselves. Bud, I'm going to ask these folks to answer a question for me. If you could possibly keep track of the answers, I'd be most grateful to you, because I know I won't be able to. I'm going to start out today with a story. You know how, well, you might not know this, but if you make your life all about doing something like this, then you develop these fantasies about what will happen, what will we give you a break down the road. Something will happen if you keep doing it, if you keep taking pictures or teaching or whatever it is you're doing. Something will happen, and then it'll be just fantastic. Well, yesterday, that something happened. I got a call out of the blue from somebody, just wasn't expecting it. Said, we saw your pictures and would like to use some of your pictures. Would you send them to us? And yeah, I said, absolutely. And I just was, on cloud 9. And they said, and be sure to send all of the original images for your final image, the things we stack and I throw away at the end of my stacking. Right. Do you know that I don't have any of the original photographs? I don't have anywhere to put them. I don't have anywhere to keep them. What would you do if it was a once in a lifetime kind of thing? You'd do what I did. You would spend the entire night taking photographs to try to recreate the beautiful ones you've already got, but don't have the source images for. So if I skip words or doze off between segments, that's what it is. Just bear with me. I usually wake up shortly thereafter. Okay, so anyway, it's all very exciting stuff that I can't breathe a word about, but yeah, it was a long night of taking pictures, but I got them. I got some good ones, and I almost threw away the originals. Can you believe that? That would have been just appalling. Susan, I did not get back to you. I promised you that I would. I just finished telling the story of why I didn't get back to you. Yeah, it's because I didn't. I didn't do any of the things that I told you guys I would do since Tuesday because of this. So if you're waiting for me to do something like give you an address, I'm on it. I'll get to it, I promise. But that's why. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things that may be happening, and I want to get your feedback about them. See if it's something that you're going to be getting behind, or if it's something that you're not interested in. The first thing is something that Steve the librarian has been trying to get me to do. Well, that doesn't sound right. I've wanted to do it. We just haven't had the circumstances and the time just right. But he raised the issue again the other day, and he's dead eager to do this. And it is a photograph exchange. Now, it's kind of what it sounds like. It's where we agree, a group of us agree that we're going to exchange photographs, and then we set the parameters for size and what they're printed on and that type of thing, and mats and all that, just whatever arrangements you want to make. And then the pictures get distributed out to the people who are participating. So you put in a picture or two or whatever, and you get back that number of pictures from other people. Now, the thing is, it's complicated because Steve sent me his musings on it, I printed it in black, but my printer thinks pink is black. Don't ask me why. And I've read this, and I'm still not exactly sure I understand it, but I understand the general theme. I'm meeting with him tomorrow. So when I meet with him, I thought it would be very helpful if I could say to him, yes, we have 11 people who would really enjoy being part of a photo exchange. Nobody makes any money from it. All you do is you get to put some art on your wall that's not made by you, that's made by somebody. Hopefully you like their work. So tell me this: would you, first of all, be interested in volunteering in some way? For example, if you're based in Europe, would you be interested in maybe being some kind of a pass the thing on type person, just doing some volunteer work? If you would, let me know, just so that we can get a couple of names. Now, more importantly, would anybody be interested in doing that? Does that sound like something you would like to do? Or if it's something you've done in the past, did you enjoy it? Would you do it again? Or is it something you're thinking to yourself, I would only do that if? Well, tell me what that if is. Tell me what your hesitation would be. If I have all this information when I sit down with Steve tomorrow, we'll get a lot done, and we'll decide whether or not we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. But it would be great to get some feedback from you. So if you want to volunteer, let me know. If you have reservations, let me know. If you're all in, let me know. And don't ask me how much it'll cost, because I have no idea. I really have no idea. I know how much it costs for me to make a photograph and to mail it to somebody, and it's exorbitant. But there you go. That's all I know. And I'll volunteer to do it. I'll do the volunteering and I'll be in it. So there's me and Steve. And we've already swapped pictures. So let me know. Let me know. That's going to be fun. If we do it, I think it'll be a good time. And we'll probably aim for the end of the summer, something like that. All right. Do you know, have you ever, that's a better way to start. Have you ever in your stacking program accidentally blended together two sets of pictures and stacked them? What would you do if you did that? Do you think you could extricate yourself from it? Well, you can actually. And if there's any interest, I'll show you how to do it. Just say, write Zerene, a note that says Zerene, if you want to talk about how you would do that in Zerene. And if I see more than one Zerene up there, I'll show you. I'll open it up and show you what I did. I had two pictures that were very similar subject, different angle. And I did not notice because I was asleep at the time. And when I imported them into Zerene, I imported them all and then stacked them all. Yet ended up with great photographs. And yeah, you might not know how to do it, so I'll show you if you don't. And I slabbed them, okay? Let me see. Case, did you get your stuff, your filter material, your, what is it called? Diffusion material. I was more concerned about yours because of the very strange address you have. The lady at the post office had no clue. I told her to just put the letters in the same order that we'd written them down and it would be good. So we'll see. It is spring, according to Ingolf, and that's a good thing. And great. Chris, you've got my address, and now cover it up with your hand so nobody else can see it. That's important. Otherwise, people will just shower me with food baskets and yeah, stuff like that. Gifts. It won't happen, but you can take your hand off the address now. Nils is here from Norway. Did the snow ever melt, Nils? It must have done by now. It's June. It will be June soon. Let me see. Here's something. Your niecey, this is Vivian talking, her niecey arrived 2 days ago. And a few jaw clamps for my first macro session, and saw the Raylon review. And yeah, there was one thing about that, about the 180, that niecey rail, and I urge everybody to do this if you buy one. If there's any wobble whatsoever in the carriage, and I don't have the rail in the room with me, but if the actual part you put the camera on is wobbly, there's a hole on the handle end of the carriage, just a hole. It holds at the bottom of it a 2.5mm screw with a Phillips head. I think it's a Phillips head. No, it might be a little socket head. But if you stick the right screwdriver in there and tighten it a quarter turn, that wobble will go away completely. For some reason, they ship them loose like that. So, Vivian, if you have a problem with that, that's all you've got to do. And I made a video about it somewhere. Can't remember where. Let's see. Anybody interested in Zerene? Yes, William Wheeler. And I knew that if Bill was here, he'd want to see this. It's an interesting solution. So we'll do that in just a moment. Ulrich's here. Ulrich Nordhoff, that is. We have not met before, I don't believe, Ulrich. Welcome. Glad you're here. And no, we have met. You're from South Africa, right? Yes, you are. I think we have met. Rob's here from Peebles, and I know we've met. We probably met in Peebles, in a pub somewhere, possibly. Who knows? Let me see. A liberal from Chi-Town. What do you mean you can't hear me? You can hear me or you can't hear me? Oh, please don't tell me you can't hear me, because I've just been talking. Oh no, that would be terrible. Yes, thank you. Vivian, I don't know that that's a fact yet. It's just the first stage. It might happen. It might not, but it's still closer than than I've been before. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. Andy, how are you doing, my friend? If we can send a final image as a file and we all agree what the file specs are, okay, that is one of the things that that we did talk about, Steve and I, was whether, given the ridiculous cost, I sent somebody a photograph. He lives just over in Florida, next state over, and it wasn't that big a photograph. Yes, it was 19 by 13, something like that. And it wasn't framed, or was it? I can't remember. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I put it in a box and sent it to him. And now I can't say the amount, because that would be churlish in case he's watching or watches later. But it was more than I expected. And if I had to do that with 3 of them, I'd go broke. I'd have to sell a camera. So yeah, electronic. And seeing as so many of our folks are all over the world, that might be necessary too, because you know the if you think shipping's bad in America, try sending something to Romania or Transylvania, yeah, or Pretoria, or forget about it. I've got 20 CHTs now, so we're okay. I say we send real pictures now, as I'm rolling in it. I've got 20 CHTs, and we discovered last month a CHT is the same as a USD, basically, near as matters. Thank you so much. Let's see if there's a question that comes with that. I would say your name, if that is your name. It could be a diagnosis. I don't know what a Warzeit is. If it's a diagnosis, I hope you get better soon. It sounds painful. But if it's your name, well, thank you. That's very, very generous of you. Fantastic. And the audio is good. People can hear. Larry is here. Larry, glad you made it. And I have not had a spare neuron to think about what we talked about regarding the Fusion 360. But I'll get in touch with you this weekend maybe, and we can hash that out. So hey Roy, how are you doing? It's good to have you here with us. And Phil from Cambria, California. Is it still nice out there? My friend Mike in Hollywood said it was, what did he say it was? It was sunny and nice for a change. It wasn't raining, which is good. There's 2 people who've said the Zerene word, so we're going to talk about that for just a second. I'll see if I can find the actual pictures that I took over there, and I'll just send them over again. It was a file I didn't know I'd kept, a file full of source images, and I had kept them because I was doing some 3D stuff. I was doing some stereo, which we're going to be talking about in just a second. And I had what was it? I thought I had 2 photographs, but I actually had 3. Let me show you what the Lightroom window looks like, so you can see how easy this mistake was to make. So what I was doing was going through this file, and I saw that obviously we had one image here that was considerably larger, and then we had this smaller image down here. What I didn't notice was that it changed from a 3/4 on shot to a head-on shot halfway through, or the other way around. And I just grabbed all of these from, I think, that one to the end, very bleary-eyed indeed. I think to the one before, no, it was to the last one, like that. So I picked all of those and I exported them to Zerene. Now, this may slow down. If this starts to interfere with my stream, I will have to stop it and just tell you what I did. But for now, as long as we don't start dropping frames, I'll just let that do its thing. We won't actually stack them over there. I'll just show you the moves. So what happened was they were all moved over there. And once they were in the input to Zerene, I didn't really look at them again. I mean, I thought I'd pretty much seen them. I even looked at the first one and saw that it was in focus, and the last one and saw that it was in focus, or had a focal, had just gone out of focus, but I didn't notice they were different photographs. And it went ahead and stacked them. But fortunately, because I was slabbing, as I usually do for a big stack, it created, first of all, it aligned them all, which is weird because it shouldn't have been able to do that, but it did. It aligned them all, and for some reason, even though they're 2 very different pictures, let me just show you what I mean. We'll pop back up there to the other screen for a second. So the one picture is like this. It's kind of flying right across the screen. The other one is coming head on at us. Yet, where is it? No, we're not there yet. Yeah, there. So the other image, it's coming straight at us, and somehow Zerene got them all aligned. I don't know how that happens, but when I got the ding that the slabbing was complete, I looked in there and I had something like 24 slabs, and no, it wasn't that many. It was about 14, and the thing was, there were 6 or 7 good slabs of the first bug, or the first view, 6 or 7 great slabs of the second one, and in the middle, a really weird slab that had a thing with 4 eyes flying towards the camera. So all I did was, I left everything the way it was. I left it, oh, it's already up there. Let's see, are we dropping frames? Not yet. How exciting. I don't think it's a problem until I actually press stack. That's when it goes a bit bonkers on us. But this was what I started with. And I ended up with 7 slabs of this view, then 7 slabs of the other one, and between the two, a slab with just a weird looking green blob in the middle of it. So what I did was, I went back to that middle point and I manually selected 10 frames. I was using 16 frame slabs, but that doesn't matter. I selected 10 frames that ended with the last of this view, and then 10 frames with the first of the next view, and I ran them under stack selected, PMax. And then I took those outputs and put them with their group of outputs down below. So I had 13 plus 2, so now I had 15 slabs, which I saved up into the same folder that the originals came from. Then I did the usual add files, and I added all of them back in, but I had made note of which ones were in a group. And then I just did stack selected for the group of the first ones plus the extra slab that I'd made, and I threw out the crossover slab. That wasn't used for anything, obviously. So we had the first group of slabs plus the slab selected, stack selected as another slab, did them, both PMax and DMAP, and then did the same with the second image. And then I retouched both images the same way you normally would, just from the output, using the regular inputs as you normally would, and ended up with two output images completely different in the outbox, and then saved them. And I'll show them to you because it worked. It absolutely worked. And in fact, it worked so well, I thought, you know, if I had thought about it in advance and I had actually set up the slabs correctly, I could have done both of those at the same time. I wonder if it would have saved any time. Probably not. It would probably have given me a terrible headache, but it works, and it's not that difficult. I'm going to close Zerene for right now. It doesn't seem to want to. There it is. Yeah. So let me show you what the outputs looked like after doing all of that. I ended up with, I kept the slabs. I kept the originals too this time. Let me see if I can find it. This is the same orchid bee that I have been living with for a year now. Things not in great shape though. Not anymore. Looking a bit on the rough side. Let me go to, I don't know that I'm going to be able to put my fingers on them right away. Maybe I am. Maybe this is it. Nope. But anyway, take my word for it. The final stacked image after retouching looked great. They both need to go over to Photoshop to get cleaned up a little bit and get the pin removed. But they were great. Perfectly on a par with the originals that I couldn't send. So that's enough of that. And I can't find the actual final one, but I'll show them to you. Well, maybe you'll see them, you know, on billboards all over the country at some point. I doubt that. Seriously, I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, so where was I? The photo swap. Any more stuff coming in on that? Any interesting commentary? Has anybody tried it, hated it, tried it, loved it? Wouldn't do it for anything? Let me see. Oh, Angie's here. You know Angie's our judge for this month, flowers. And somebody, we've got a brand new person join the group called Andy Wallace, who turned in a bunch of really beautiful flower photographs. Angie, if that's you, you have to come up with a better name than that. And if you vote for both of those Andy Wallace pictures, I'll know it's you. So you can't do that. You can't do that. So let me see. Let me see. Do you really have to delete my address? It's on the website. Everybody knows where I am. Nobody's ever come by and thrown rotten eggs at the house or anything. I shouldn't have said that, should I? That's the kiss of death. Okay, oh well. David Green, welcome. A cautionary tale from Yorkshire last year. I bought a Mitutoyo look-alike. Yes, there are a lot of them around. Spent months messing about with tube lengths until I finally bought the real thing from Thor Labs. You know, there are ways to buy the real thing, and it is risky to buy, especially from overseas. The Thor Labs, normally what will happen is this. If you get a strange-looking Mitutoyo, it's usually a fake. But the argument that a lot of people make is it's hard to fake a lens that you know is completely rubbish. Most of those are actually made in lens factories. They're just not made by Mitutoyo, and many of them are apparently quite good. I think it was Robert O'Toole that made this point about the tube lenses, at least. I have used many 5X Mitutoyos, some that didn't look at all like the real thing, but perform admirably. And I've never found one that looked real that wasn't real. The best thing is always, if you can afford the extra dollars, is to get a new one with the paperwork, and you'll know it's the right one if it says do not fall or drop. If it gives you that warning on the bottle, you know it's the right thing, and you've got a real one. It should come in a big orange box with all kinds of padding on it and a big plastic container that squeaks like a banshee when you open it. Yeah, that's all the real thing. If you get all of that stuff with it and it doesn't have a spelling mistake in the word mitutoyo, you're good. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, because it's an expensive mistake. And I get it. I have ordered that stuff from China too, and I've been taken by it as well. So sorry that happened, but I'm glad you got a new one. You know, if you always, before you buy one, check with Light Glass Optics it's in New Mexico, but he ships internationally, and a lot of my friends have objectives from him. And Jeff over there is a super nice guy. He's honest as the day is long, and if he sells you a used mitutoyo, it's a mitutoyo and it's been checked out by him. So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to buy one from him. So that is an option if you want to save some money. Give him a call. He will actually talk to you about it, and yeah, give it a try. All right. And Patrick, it's you. I should have known it was you by the 20 Canadian francs. No, the Swiss francs. Yes. I thought it's two generous people from Switzerland. How does that happen? Welcome and congratulations on winning the photo competition last month. I have been trying to get in touch with you by telepathy. I haven't done anything concrete to reach out to you, like send you an email, because I haven't had time. But you won a lens. Did you know that? You won a lens. I need to get your address so that I can send it to you. So if you would email me your address, and yeah, you have a choice, like everybody does. You can either have the lens, which in this case is I'm pretty sure it's an EL Nikkor enlarger lens, 50mm f2.8 enlarger lens. If you already have one, or use something else, or don't need one, then there is an alternative prize, which is not really, it doesn't sound pricey enough, but it would be a 2-hour private lesson with me, which is about 18 times what one of those lenses would cost you on eBay. So it's actually a good value if you believe in value from lessons from me. Okay, lessons from me. How about Saturday? I think I'm going to call this Blind Leading the Blind. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock Central Time in the US, I am going to do a free tutorial on stereophotography. Stereography. I'm just going to show you how to do a picture to turn it in for the competition in June. And when I told Rick that I was doing this, he just shook his head in disgust and said, "Why don't you teach them something that you know?" So with that in mind, come on Saturday. It's free, which is exactly what it'll be worth. And all I'm going to do is just do a couple of stereo shots. I do them almost every day. I practice. I'm no good at it, but I do know what buttons to press. So if you come on Saturday, I'm going to do a hard one and an easy one, but not in that order. I'll do an easy one, then a hard one. I'll do a regular one and a slabbed one, a slabbed stereo. And we'll end up with 2 pictures, and we'll put on the glasses and look at them and everything. And if you have questions, that's a great time to come and say, show me how to do this, that, or the other. So if you're not planning on entering, you're missing an opportunity to win something phenomenal. I think it might be one of those Falcon X space rockets is what we're giving away. I'll have to check with my secretary. She said something about a bird. Yeah, anyway, I'll check and we'll see. But there will be a prize of some kind, just as there will this time. I've forgotten what it is. that you're catching me at a bad time. Sleep deprived. So anyway, that's the plan for Saturday. I know for a fact Bud's coming, and there's a chance, though the rate things are going, it's unlikely. Bud and I will do some Photoshop stuff, but if enough people show up and they want to know about stereo, and especially if Rick shows up, if Rick shows up, I'll have to be doing it right. So yeah. So just come Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's 7 o'clock in the morning out in Hollywood for Mike. For Captain Martinez, it's the middle of the night in Hawaii. It's the middle of the night in Australia, or the middle of the next night. And who knows what it is in Europe. It's, hang on, I know. It's 9 o'clock plus 3. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, tea time. So yeah, come Saturday. Tweezer sharpening. Somebody asked me, how do you sharpen tweezers? I mean, give me the real lowdown, the details. They wanted to know. And I've already talked about it. I think I've shown it, might have made a video on it. But I'm going to show you again once, just to rub in the key point, the most important point about sharpening your tweezers. First of all, I hope that you are buying rubbish tweezers from China. Number 11s. They are the best ones for most people's hands. They're made of soft, inexpensive steel, or steel, some kind of alloy that is so soft that they're easy to sharpen, and you have to sharpen them every day, every time you use them, because the key is the tips, the very, very tips, have to oppose, but there has to be a little bit of space behind the tips that doesn't close, because remember, what you're trying to pick up with these tweezers is sometimes things as thick as the wing of a flea, or an appendage on something that its whole size is only 1 millimeter. And if you don't have them perfect, you will be grabbing it and lifting up air every time you do it, because if they're not meeting at the end, there's no way to pick them up. So there's a specific way you sharpen them, and I'll show you this under the microscope because it's easier for you to see. Now, normally I do all of my sharpening on sandpaper, and I use 2 grits. I use 600 and 1200. I take a glass slide, a microscope slide, super glue to the front and to the back a strip of 600 and 1200, either side, opposite sides. I use the 600 only if I need to reshape the tip, to actually change the shape of the tip itself. But the sharpening part, I use the 1200. And the reason I put it on a glass slide is so that I can, let me grab one. Might not be able to. I don't know where I put, oh, there they are. No, that's not glass slides. Forget about it. I'll pretend. Watch, I'm pretending now. You can hold the glass slide at its ends like that. See it? And then with your tweezers open, you can sharpen them one blade at a time on the correct grit by holding the thing apart with your fingers, like so. But let me show you under the microscope what I'm talking about. I went to all the trouble of putting this other camera up, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with it. It's just looking at me and making me feel uncomfortable. I might turn it off. Let's go to the microscope instead. So, this was a good idea, having this little tiny picture of me so you can see me go off the screen to the microscope. All right, hang on, things are making creaking noises. Oh, it's the light, it's rubbing against it. Can we see my tweezers? Yes, we can. Can you hear me? That's the other thing. I got a microphone, by the way. I discovered it in my box because I bought it years ago to amplify my guitar. Doesn't work though. I think I dropped it. No sound comes out of it. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate using a file because I forgot to get the sandpaper. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to pretend that this file is actually just a piece of sandpaper on a glass slide. So what I do is, first of all, I make sure that the outside of my tweezer is uniform and that the edges come together right at the tip. Yeah, hang on, let me see if I can get less magnification on this. No, I can't. This is awfully, let's try doing it this way. Okay, now you can see that there is a slight offset. They do twist, especially if you use them a lot. They'll twist to where they don't meet at the very tip. So what I do is I take my sandpaper, or file in this case, and I just very gently, while holding them together, usually I hold them all the way at the tip, but I can't get my hand under the microscope that way. I hold the tip shut like that. Here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it on the big screen. It's a lot easier. So I will hold the tip together like so, and I'm not squeezing hard, just holding them together, and then I will go all the way around with the file, turning as I go. You didn't see that, did you? There. Holding it together and rotating as I go while filing to a point. And you'll end up with what looks like two halves of a needle, but you'll also notice that they meet a lot in the middle for a long section. So this is where you have to do what's called a relief cut. I made that term up. I have no idea if it's called that, but that's what I call it. So you'll go in, and we're working on the bottom point. You'll take your file or your sandpaper about there and tipping it up towards the end edge. What you want to do is just ever so gently, and if you've got a diamond file, it's a whole lot quicker. This is a diamond. No, I think this is a regular one too. You just file back and forth or sand back and forth until you create a little hollow here. And it actually, if you're using a super sharp file like the ones I have out in my workshop, it actually makes a little step down. You can see almost, no, you can see how on this side you've got, this is a little higher than the bit behind it. And I keep this thinned out so that when the tweezers close, they close at the tip. See that? That's the key. If they aren't doing that under the microscope, you've got no hope of picking anything up with them. And that's all there is to it. I wouldn't waste any money buying the other weird shaped tweezers that they make, like these things. I don't know what the point of these is. Their point's too long to get any kind of grip at the end. See how they're kind of bending flat? And when you squeeze these together like this, as you squeeze, watch, the end comes open. See how the end is opening? If you pick something up and then squeeze it with a human hand, which doesn't take much squeezing, the end gives way and whatever you're holding drops out. You want just the tip to be touching. Okay, there you go. Has anybody ever heard of a Hikari platform? You have now. Does anybody want to know what a Hikari platform is? Well, I have 20 pages and we're going to do a book review. We're not. Okay, did you read the abstract there? The Hikari tool is a DIY digital microscopy platform with deep learning capabilities. So it was like me until you got to the end, the deep learning part. I don't do that. I do shallow learning, temporary learning. This is a fantastic paper, and it is a superb idea and piece of equipment. What it is this guy, I don't know if his name is Micro Hikari. That would be a bit on the lucky side, wouldn't it, to be called Micro and Hikari. Yeah, anyway, that might be Japanese for microscope or something like that. But anyway, what this is a 3D printer where they've taken the hot end off to cool it down and replaced it with a microscope objective type infinity corrected microscope system that moves around using the same thingamajigs that the 3D printer uses. So you have this highly accurate positionable microscope system that focuses using the x-axis, y-axis. It's fascinating. You should read it. And don't tell Jan that I'm doing that with the new printer, whatever you do. Don't tell, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that with the printer. But I thought that, what a clever idea that is. And it actually comes in at like total expense of $200 or $240 for the whole thing to make it from start to finish, compared to other DIY projects of the same type that cost thousands. Pretty interesting stuff. Read it. It's very good. I'll put the thing in the notes afterwards. It's Micro Hikari 3D is the name of it. I'll hold it up one more time. That's the title there. Look for it. Read it. What? Can you hear a tapping noise? It's probably just my hard drives getting ready to flake out on me. They've been making groaning noises all night. All right, so let's see. What have I missed? Victor, thank you very much indeed. That's very generous of you. If you have a question, let me know. And hang on a second. Bud, you're in Newcastle? What are you doing in Newcastle? When did you move there? That's a surprise. I could have sworn you were in Atlanta yesterday. Well, I hope you're having a nice holiday. Mike Wallace is here. That's great. I thought you had died, sir. That must be the other Mike Wallace. And he might not have died. He's just very old now, I think. Let me see. Posting results of what, Michael? And Ingolf? I'm confused. Oh, did I miss a conversation? Ingolf, Michael Wallace, 2 TT350s for 2 years for hundreds of images without any problem. Well, you weren't here on Monday, were you, or Tuesday? I was spitting mad with those Godox 350s. I had 2 huge stacks ruined, huge. I mean, almost 1,000 shots. And I slowed everything down to accommodate for it. The MF12s fired every single frame, and about halfway through, the TT350s just started missing and got worse and worse, and useless. Had to throw the pictures out. So, I mean, everybody else has had a lot of luck with them, and I did the first time I had them, but this one is a dud. It really is. Anyway, fantastic. Well, Patrick, let's talk this weekend so I can get your lens to you. Let me see. Did everybody get the point about Zerene? It's not that hard to do. It's just kind of common sense. What surprised me was the alignment thing. You wouldn't think that would be a thing that could happen, but it worked. The alignment didn't seem to cause a problem. Art's here. Welcome, and don't worry about the address, but everybody knows my address. Everybody who cares knows what it is, and everybody who doesn't care. Kind of stands to reason, that, doesn't it? Hang on a second. We're talking about springtime. Here's the question I had, and I'm very interested to hear what you say to this. It's spring. It's a lovely, sunny, but not particularly hot Saturday. There's no rain in the forecast. There's bugs are out everywhere, or flowers if that's your thing. It's just a perfect day. And you decide you're going to go out for your first full day of macro photography. You take with you your camera, your favorite macro lens, and assuming a card and a battery are in the camera, or a roll of film or whatever. But you're only allowed to take one other thing. We'll assume you have trousers already and a hat, so you don't have to use them. But you can only take one gadget, one thing, one light source. What would you take? One thing. I'd be very interested. You learn a lot from a macro photographer as to the one thing they would take with them into the woods. And it has to be something to do with photography. Okay, let's see if anybody has a good answer for that question. Somebody's asking the discussion of about Croyle. I tried the Croyle, arrived, I got my Croyle. Bud suggested I get some Croyle. I got it. I thought I'd got the wrong thing. It's just a poisonous pink liquid that is miraculous. It really does. I've tried it on a bunch of old rusty nuts and bolts out in the garage, and it just eats the rust away. You can unscrew just about anything. I'm thinking about possibly even using it on, I've got a lens with a filter thing on it, a filter step down ring. It won't come off. Nothing will get it off. And I'm thinking a drop of this Croyle might do it. As long as it doesn't seep through the lens and into my camera, I'll be good. But anyway, I'll give it a try. Let me see. Everybody's fretting about my address. Don't worry about it. I'll ask people don't look at it. It's private. Don't look at it. See, now nobody's looking at it. It's good. It's okay. It really is. It would be if everybody showed up here with an egg to toss at the house, it would be great. We'd have a street party. It would be fantastic, because nobody comes over here. I'm the crazy Englishman on the hill, is what they call me. And it was because of the beard. I shouldn't have grown the beard so soon after moving in, because that and being up at 2 o'clock in the morning taking pictures every night, it's kind of hard to fit in that way. So yeah, having all my friends coming over to throw stuff at the house would normalize the situation, I think. All right. Angie's smiling about something, which is good. And Danny Gibson's here from Northern Ireland. You missed the start. No, you didn't. Didn't miss a thing. It was just me yakking and yammering away. You want me to start over and just tell you everything I said? I won't do that. I wouldn't put everybody else through that. Angie, have you been looking at the pictures, the flower pictures that are up already? What do you think? You think they're good? Are you going to ridicule the ones that you don't like? I can't wait if you do that. That'll be great. It's going to be fantastic. Have you decided what day we're going to do it on? Actually, does anybody know what day the last day of the month is? Oh, I've got a calendar. Hang on. I'll look it up. It should be coming up quite soon. My pointer's gone missing. There it is. Last day of the month. Oh, would you believe it? The last day of the month is the 31st, which is a Wednesday, which means the 1st of June is on our Thursday. It's on our live stream day. Angie, would you like to do this thing live instead of recorded? You and me on this live stream together doing the pictures? I think that we should do that. I think that would be fun. If you want us to do that live, say something in the chat. Just say yes, live, or no, record it, or no, don't do it. Stop the competition. All right, so I've asked you a lot of questions. Do you remember what they are? Because I won't know what the answers mean when I get them. I will because I wrote them down. So Angie, let me know. I think we should do it live that Thursday, the 1st. That'll be so much fun. That'll be the day the stereo starts too. Wasn't that a Don McLean song? No, that was the day the music died. Okay, all right, not to worry. This is what happens when I'm up all night taking pictures. As soon as I hang up from doing this, I'm going to go to bed. I really am. This is you shouldn't be awake this long. I've run out of coffee as well. Okay, let me see. What time is it? Gosh, we got a quarter of an hour left. That's great. So let me see. What are you taking out there in the woods, guys? Oh, Chris looked at the Hikari 3D setup. It's actually not too dissimilar to the stuff from MJKZZ. Both are based on 2020 aluminum profiles, right? Yep. I use that stuff for everything. It's great. It is actually a 3D printer he buys. It's not a kit. I think he disassembled an actual one to make it. Don't know for sure. You're not in Newcastle? Angie's in Newcastle. Oh, well, I just saw the Newcastle next to your name, bud. I'm sorry. I figured you'd have mentioned to me if you were moving to Newcastle. So that's a long way away, but all right, good. Everything's working. What's working? What was not working? Oh, you mean my stuff? Artist's acrylic spray fixative on insects. Walter's asking that. No, I must say I have a can of acrylic spray fixative for artists. So you're talking about the little blue and white can? I have some of that. It's like a lacquer type thing. I've never thought of spraying it on an insect. I sprayed it on a live wasp once, but that was to kill it, and it did. Yeah, and I haven't tried that. I will though. You know, we were comparing some images last night. Rick and I were looking at some strange anatomy that we found on a potter wasp. And it occurred to me that, well, he was showing me some 3D stereo pictures of mandibles of wasps. And wasp mandibles are fascinating. A really interesting anatomy, and he had dissected out a set of mandibles to photograph. And then I remembered that gigantic wasp-like hornet that was in my garage that I killed, but I was afraid to pick it up even after it was dead in case its spirit was going to sting me. And it's still out there, and it's kind of dried up, so I should be able to pop its jaws off with no problem. That's what I might do that this afternoon while I'm sleepy. That will be good. I'll probably get stung. You know you can do that with a dead bee or a wasp. Sting yourself. Yep. House retired from surgery and took up macro. Did he really? I hated that program. It was just so over the top. It wasn't at all realistic, obviously. But yeah. Medical programs that aren't realistic are incredibly annoying if you're a medical person, because you think, wow, that's just all a lot of rubbish they're talking about. And that he was bad. He should have stayed in Jeeves and Worcester, because he was the perfect Jeeves. No, yes, Jeeves. Bertie Wooster was by the big tall chap, yeah. Fantastic, that P.G. Wodehouse stuff. That's right up my alley. How did I get off the subject again? Not to worry. One thing, apart from a camera lens, a tripod. No, it didn't say you could have a tripod. No, that's two things then. You're taking a tripod and a white reflector. You can only have one. Which one would you like? I'll guess it's the tripod you go for. The white reflector, you could just use your t-shirt. Yeah, because I've already said you can have a hat. Take a white hat. Flash and diffuser. What's with the rules today? All right, a flash and diffuser sounds good. Yeah, that's probably what I would take. Though, after I thought about the question, I started thinking of all the other things that I might like to take. You know, one thing I wouldn't take would be my automated flying insect photography rig, because it weighs as much as I do, basically. And I'm putting it together on a practice run so that when I put it together for you guys next week, I'll know what I'm doing. And we're going to start using that in my back garden. I thought we would do a live stream from the garden where there is a bush that insects come to, and we'll try to photograph them there. It's the only bush, so if they don't come there, we're pretty much out of luck. But there's usually things out there flying around, so that'll be good. So it'll be, if it doesn't rain, next week, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my garden, okay, with the flying insect machine. That's going to be so much fun. Mylar diffusion sheets. Somebody asked me to, Walter wanted to see the label. So I went and got it. This is now a mere memory of how big this thing was. It's mostly gone now, but this is what it's called. Comstock inkjet plotter media, 130443. 46 yards, 41 yards. No wonder it's lasted so long. 3 millimeters or 3 mil matte film, double matte film. That's what it's called. If you can find this stuff, don't buy it, because you will never ever use it all. I mean, I have given away now probably 100 packets of 6 or 8 sheets of the stuff, and I still have this much left. But it is the best filter material, and the piece that I've got over there is the same piece I had when I bought this a year ago. It doesn't even stain, and you can wipe it and it cleans. Beautiful stuff. I shouldn't have shown you how much I had left, because now people are going to say, oh, he's got that much left. I'll get some. I don't think I'm up to mailing anything else anytime soon. But yeah, I will. If you need some, let me know. All right. So that's what it's called, Comstock. Comstock, isn't that a river or something? I don't know. The name sounds familiar. But that's the stuff, and I don't think you can buy it anymore. Somebody told me that they make Mylar inkjet medium for using in printers, but that if you use it in a laser printer, it blows up or catches fire or gives off noxious fumes. That's all I know about it. So I went on Amazon to see if I could find a roll of the stuff for when this runs out, and they had hundreds of brands of sheets of similar stuff, but they weren't the same. They were shiny, and when you looked at them, they looked like transparency material. They were not the same thing. And then at the very end of the listings on page 7, they had a roll of this stuff for $300 and something. Crazy. So I think that there probably are lots of rolls of this hanging around. Old office supply shops might be able to give you some. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I might go to there's an old printer repair shop in Birmingham, Alabama, where I'm going in a couple of weeks, and I'll go and check with them. I bet they've got a roll of it in the back they'll sell me. Yeah, and then we'll start the whole mailing thing again. Okay, so I've covered everything on my list, believe it or not. That's impressive. I didn't do that on Tuesday. Let's see what everybody's taking with them into the woods. Free omelets is Chris's thing he's taking. Let me see. Oh, John Lucas, you got the Mylar. Excellent. Good. And they do work well, don't they? I love them. I've already said that, though. Ingolf, the only thing I agree... Oh, Chris and you don't agree on everything? I'm surprised. And that's a white reflector. Yeah, I won't go out without a white reflector, but I also won't go out without a flash. So I would cheat and take both. Yeah. But I use, when I'm out in the field, either a sheet of the Mylar stuff or one of those soft boxes. And that soft box, you've seen the ones, they're about that big. They're made to go on speed lights. But if you just pull the thing out of the bag and don't put it on the camera, it is a perfect little reflector. And I use that to bounce light in there if I'm not using the flash, so I don't have to carry two things. Angie, running away fast. I would rather do recorded. Let's chat. Okay, all right, deal. When do you want to chat? Can't do it today. I'm so far behind. Yeah, tell me when, and I'll set up a Zoom call, and we'll chat and make a decision. Okay, and we will record it. I respect that. Yeah, it would nerve wrack me to do something live instead of, well, like this. Yeah, this is why my nerves are racked. Label for Mylar. Already did it, Walter. Danny, assuming a flash and diffuser are separate things, I take a reflector. Yeah, reasonable. Reflector. Wow, everybody wants reflectors. Oh, Oh, you want to see more creativity, Angie. Okay, all right. I thought you were saying you wanted to see them more clearly, and I was going to suggest spectacles or something like that. But okay, more creativity. That was the judge, guys, that just said that about the flower competition. Would like to see more creativity. It's a hint from the judge. Good. You'll see some creativity, I feel. I'm growing some flowers in my navel. Is that creative enough, or is that just disgusting? Probably so. I can't wait to see them, but I'm not allowed to look because I don't want to know who's turned in what. It interferes with my impartiality. Let me see. Please consider giving Allan a thumbs up, says Bud, and I have to concur with that. I don't know even how you do that. How would I give myself a thumbs up? Where is the thumb? Is there a button with a thumb on it? I don't see it. No, I really wouldn't know how to do that. And I have only attended one live stream of somebody else, and it made me too nervous, and I had to quit. But yeah, if you would give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. It would be fantastic. Videos. There has been a lull in video production, and it's not been accidental. It's actually been difficult and deliberate because of things going on with macro rails and what have you. But there have been some milestones reached, and things are going to not exactly normalize. They're gonna settle into the new normal. And a part of that is going to be some videos coming out again here soon, both tutorial type videos and some rather in-depth product stuff. I am getting an opportunity to do something with a product review that is very special for the channel, and it's going to be very special for you. I can't tell you what it is because we're still in discussions. But if it happens the way it's looking like it's going to happen, it's something you will not want to miss, and it will give you an opportunity that you otherwise will not have anywhere in the world. So I'll fill you in as time goes by. We're talking about maybe another 4 to 6 weeks before that comes to pass, and I'll tell you all about it as we get closer. But it's a big deal. That's 2 big deal things that have happened to the channel in quick succession. So I felt that this year would be good, and then I convinced myself that was just indigestion, and maybe I was right the first time. You never know. Okay. Oh, I wouldn't want free omelets with the kind of eggs they'd throw at my house, though. They're probably fresher than the eggs in my fridge. Do you know that you can freeze eggs? I don't know if you can eat them afterwards, but mine have all frozen in the fridge because I turned it down to keep it colder. And everything froze in it, even things that don't freeze, so it got really cold. If you threw these eggs at a house, they'd smash through the windows. All right, let me see. Reflector, ring flash. Ralph, I would have agreed with you on that a while ago. I haven't used it in a while, but that's a good one. Blick Art Supply has a double matte mylar by the sheet. Does it really? How much do they charge for it? Do they charge as much as I do, or is it cheaper than that? I bet Blick is expensive for most stuff. If you know, Phil, let me know. Proud Liberal, how about hosting an email directory posted on Discord where we could contact each other? I'm not sure about the liability of posting a directory, or I really don't understand the legal ramifications of that. But Discord has rules about it that I will check, and really the way it's done now is you make contact over there on Discord and you exchange emails. But if you're thinking of a way to be able to reach out to everybody, yeah, I guess if it was completely voluntary, let me talk to Curly Toes. That's kind of up his alley, the security aspect of it and everything. I'll talk to him and find out. I'll make a note. Email directory. All right, I will ask him and I'll report back to you. Don't forget, next week we're going to be doing live insect capture using the automated stack shot device, Cognisys device, bugs in flight, I think is what it's called. Speedlight and diffuser are one thing, then you choose that instead of a reflector. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you want to control the sun as much as you can, and if you take your own sun, that's as good as it gets. Let me see. Take a monopod. I wouldn't take a monopod unless I thought there was something that I was going to have to club with it, because I just trip over them. I find them the most irritating things. I'm glad some people use them though. Courage to face the eventual. Oh, I thought you meant bears. Bears. Yeah, we don't have bears here, do we? Do we have bears in America? We might have. I don't know. I've never seen one. Yetis, I think, is all we have. Let's see. I think that's it. I think we're out of time. It's 3:03, and I have a phone call to make before I can go have a nap. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me see if there's anything else to be said. There's a huge thank you's got to go to Hernando. Thank you, Hernando, for a 10 USD super shout, or whatever it's called. What is it called? A super shout? I don't know. They don't. The names of these things don't make a lot of sense to me, so I don't remember them very well. Okay. Yeah, Vivian can't find the thumbs up thing either. So Vivian, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. It looks like everybody's just creating thumbs and putting them in there. Yeah, you did too. Good for you. All right. Prize offered, several messages back, Alan. If you want to accept, let me know. Prize offered. Hang on. Let me see what did I miss something important? Just chat amongst yourselves. Vivian, am I looking for your name here? Prize for your competitions. If you would like, I will send you 4 super clamps and 4 3/8 quarter 20 male thread if you want to accept them and use them as a prize. Yes! How terribly kind of you. Not only would that be a great prizes, not prize, it's exactly the kind of thing that people would love to get in this group. Yes, thank you so much, Vivian. That's very kind of you. I already accidentally put my address up, so it's the same address. If you didn't catch it, ask Chris. He's got it. So does everybody else. But that would be very nice. Thank you, and I will do that, and we'll mix that in with Robert's lenses and everything else we're giving away. This has worked out really well. That people are getting some fantastic prizes for their hard work. Great, and don't forget it's stereo in June, so practice for that. Come on Saturday if you want to just come have a laugh. It might only be an hour, and it'll be quick and informal, and we're just doing stereo and chattering, okay? So I will see you then. Thank you for coming, as always. This is my favorite day of the week, and yes, it's just fantastic, and that's because of you guys. So thank you, and I will see you again next week, and take care. I am going to read the rest of the messages, though, in case there's anything I need to know about. C. Sacken is explaining where the thumbs up thing is. You guys are great. Take care. See you on Saturday, I hope. Otherwise, next week. Goodbye.